And in our mind, and the guys that were out there, it's like, okay, well, we don't know this dude, and so we're going to treat him like a bad guy, just like that, just from the start, um, and let him prove to us that he's not before we hand him over to all of our officers. That's not the way it went down, but yeah.
I really appreciate you sharing that and shining a light and reflecting on that, because I think it's a story that is not just important, but a lot of people, maybe not as many people, should know. But that does kind of lead into a segue of something that I think is very famous, and that is the attack on Benghazi in 2012. I remember where I was actually when Benghazi happened. I was younger, obviously. It happened a long time ago. And I remember the claims about, the videotape, they attacked it because of that guy made that YouTube video. I think that all ended up getting debunked rather quickly. But from a pure tactical standpoint, because this is your area of expertise, what could have been done before Benghazi happened to have stopped the situation that unfolded?
Wow, that's a great question. I think more along the lines uh, of I just want to say preparation. So we're talking about two different entities, though. So we're talking about Department of State and then our folks, right? Um, the Department of State does what they do, right? They're politicians, bureaucrats, and you know, country builders. They're more of a take more of a passive approach to security than we do. Um, and really, it's just a mindset. If this would have happened, and I think they portrayed it in the movie too, but our guys are telling them, hey, you guys need to step up your game on, security and stuff like that. And it's pretty common for the State Department to rely on us for a lot of things like that. Um, and again, 2 years after that in AAA, same thing. Um, I think from a tactical standpoint, the and it's happened before. 93 in Mogadishu, the guys were not allowed to have certain things available to them. AC-1 gun, AC-130 gunships and all that stuff. Just to say that anything like that. Same thing in this situation. They didn't want it to, I guess, provide that kind of stuff, right? Um, so a more passive approach to the security. But I mean, you're you're going to get what you get, and it's a almost like an underestimation of the threat capability. Um, our guys are a little bit better at that because of the backgrounds, right? Coming out of the special operations committee and those kind of things. Um, it was just, literally from all the way up to, the White House, just lack of support, I guess, for that particular site.
Two things on that front. One of the big things is that the consulate had like the local security that fled right as soon as shit hit the fan. They just picked their guns up and left and went home. Were your guys, did they know that those dudes were completely untrustworthy and would be absolutely useless in an event of a crisis? Which, correct me if I'm wrong, is what happened. Like the local guys did nothing to protect that consulate, right?
Yeah. I'm almost positive they had a good idea what their local guard force would do. And because, yeah, I think, and then they tried to portray that in the movie too. I think when one of the State Department RSOs is talking to, they're having an argument out front about pay or something like that, right? Um, yeah, it's a I guess not not paying attention to one of the dynamics of the people that are there, right? The different militias and who will really do what for you when push comes to shove. Um, and we've seen it over and over again that okay, you can train a militia or a group of folks to protect you all day long, but if they go home every day. So if their family or them are coerced into doing something, then they're easily influenced to do that kind of stuff. I'm going to hold your family hostage. I'm going to take your family, kill your family if you, because I know you work at the for the Americans. That kind of stuff happens all the time. And so, yeah, to put so much, to rely on so much on those kind of folks, I mean, that should have been learned a long time ago. But that's a really common error in a lot of places that we go, or that I've been over the years. Um, yeah, and for me, it's like, and a lot of guys, it's like we don't put that much trust in the locals, the local militias, whoever they are. Um, if it's not an American, okay, I'll ask for your support, but I'm going to go ask for Americans as well. And guess who shows up? Other Americans usually.
Right.
Yeah, local guard forces, they're not usually security guards at best. Um, and so if you hit them, if you pressure them that hard, if they start getting shot at, they're going to do exactly what they did then, and run, right? It's yeah, it's not good.
Was it Glenn Doherty or Tyrone Woods that came in from Tripoli? Because one of them came in from Tripoli. One of the two of your guys, the CIA guys who died, they were in Tripoli and had to come in on a flight, correct?
Yep.
And this is what I'm curious. So was that Tyrone Woods or Glenn Doherty?
Glenn Doherty, he is on the
So
triple team.
okay, so Glenn Doherty comes in from Tripoli, and it's portrayed in the movies and some books that there's a huge holdup about whether or not help is going to be sent. How realistic is that? Was there debate about could they send people from Tripoli and things of that nature?
I'm not sure what communication between Tripoli and Benghazi there was, on who's coming, when they're coming, and who's on the ground and where they're at. I'm not sure what that communication was. Um, but it's also it's also just another small team, right? And guess what? They're going to do what they the best they can with what they got. But it's again, it's the other available assets in the Mediterranean that we're not alerted to respond is the biggest thing. Because ultimately, I mean, yeah, the small force can add some more, another level of higher percentage of survivability of whatever's coming, but who knows how long it's going to last. And I don't even know how that decision came and went, all the way up to National Command Authority at the time. But yeah, ultimately nobody showed up outside of what was there.
And absolutely correct. And so is that the same plane that he arrives on that brought the two Delta operators? Were they all in the same group?
Yes, yeah, they were all from Tripoli.
And I think most people in the public don't even know that there were two Delta guys that came because it hadn't been covered. It's not in the movie. There's one sentence in the entire movie that references it, but
Yeah,
it is kind of interesting that here you are, your CIA guys are there, and then your old unit, two of those guys are also there. It's just I don't know if I'd say a small world, but in a situation like that, you've got CIA guys who have come. You've got two Delta commandos who are also in this response team. When they're on the rooftops and bullets are flying, who's given orders in that situation? Is it the CIA team? Is it the Delta guys? When it's a gunfight, who's dictating what's going to happen?
yeah, it would have stayed with the Benghazi team, the agency guys.
Gotcha. One of those two Delta guys was actually a former Marine. He
Yep.
was one of the crossovers because that doesn't happen a
Yep.
ton. But I won't say I won't say his name. There's no point doing it. But I've always thought that those two guys. I wish more people knew that they'd gone, but nobody really does. I just have a couple more questions for you. This has been an absolutely fascinating interview. These are kind of the fun ones we like to end with. As everyone watching the show knows, I ask every tier one guy the exact same question. It is the SEAL Team 6 versus Delta Force. In your opinion,